world, and it's absolutely free. So you can come, you can get a certificate, and you can get all of the resources. We have over 150 webinars on various topics. Today we're going to talk about fingers and having fun with fingers. So a lot of the activities today are for children. So if you teach young learners or children, then this will be very good for you. I'll go ahead and put the bit.ly address. If you go there, you'll find all the links. You'll find our upcoming topics. Next week, we have a great topic. We'll be talking about teaching with some very cool YouTube apps. So there's so many cool free YouTube videos and tools like that. So we'll talk about that next week. One of the great things about working with children, and I've taught children English as young as 2 years old, and I've worked with various ages, and I've also taught teens and older children as well. But one of the things that the most powerful way that we can learn is through play. And play gives children a chance to practice what they are learning. So play is a very, very necessary skill and something that we need to make room for in the classroom. You might have to take off my video if the bandwidth is too. You can do that by clicking the corner and just click the corner over here, and then just like there should be an X or something. So today, hi Manuela. We have people all over the world today. Argentina, Portugal, Canada, Egypt, so many different places. So what is finger play? Well, there's different types of finger play. We have finger play where it's just play with your fingers, and we're going to see activities with that. But we also have finger plays with puppets, and this is where you can do very cool things, like you can draw on your finger, and then you can have finger plays. They're usually chants and songs and singing and spoken words that you do with your hands. So they're really great for young learners and kids to learn English, and they get a big kick out of them. They love them. Some of the most famous ones you'll recognize, which are in the next slide. But right now, there's a lot of things you can use finger plays to do. They're great for classroom management. If you see that your students are getting very hyper and they are just running around, then you can do a finger play, which is called open, shut them, put them in your lap. So there's different types of finger plays to manage the classroom. And everybody walks around, you get in a circle, and you say open, shut them, and then you put them in your lap, and you did this in a fun way. You're not yelling at the students and saying, you need to sit down, because a lot of times they won't listen to you that way. But with the finger play, it looks like it's fun, and they think, wow, that's exciting. It's a great way to teach vocabulary. So let's say we're going to teach about the body parts, and we're going to teach about fingers. Well, one of the most famous finger plays, what's one of the most famous finger plays for teaching about fingers? You can type it in the chat box. You might know it. It's when it goes, where is Thumbkin? Where is Thumbkin? Or how is Thumbkin? And then you have the thumb that comes up and says, very well, thank you. Run away, run away. And then you have middle finger and you have ring finger. So you can teach the different types of fingers. It's good for supporting a story. So you can sing a chant or do a finger play with characters, and then your students can learn about them. For example, there's 5 little monkeys sitting on a row. One fell off the bed and had to go. So there's different types of chants that you can have for it. You can teach grammar. It's a good way to get them, when they're singing, then they're learning the different structures, and it's easy for them, for their brain to process that way. It's a good way to transition to the next task, so you can end the story, and then you can go to a game or maybe another activity, and you can do a song to kind of calm things down and get students used to getting up and moving and making things with their fingers. There are very famous finger games out there. You have thumb war, you have rock, paper, scissors, you have 1, 2, 3 shoot, and you have finger soccer. So the one in the picture here is thumb war, and it's when you go like this and you play with two partners and you go 1, 2, 3, 4, I declare thumb war, and then you try to take their finger. And kids love that. Another one is rock, paper, and scissors. And then you have 1, 2, 3, shoot. So these are all fun hand games. And the great thing about it is that these are pedagogically sound because we know about TPR, total physical response. And when you teach with total physical response, studies have shown that it helps language learners to process. It makes the brain open to remembering all this vocabulary and learning the different English structures, and they associate the movement and then also the words, and it helps the brain to register all of this language learning. There's also fun things that you can do with your fingers, such as shadow puppets. And shadow puppets are when you have a white background like this, and then you use the shadows to make animals. And so this can be a fun game. You can put the projector up in your classroom, and you can put animals up, and you can play a guessing game. You can have the kids guess which animals. You can do one that's a bunny. Someone can do an old man. So if you go here where you go to bleefafu.com, you see shadow puppets, and it tells you the different ones to do. So your students, this is a fun way to get them to learn about animals. And then we also have very famous Fingerplays that teaches about many different things, like the itsy bitsy spider went up the water spout, down came the rain and washed the spider out. And then of course we have twinkle twinkle little star. And so these are all different types of very famous Fingerplays that students love, and they've usually been translated in all of these different languages, so they're a great way to have young learners learn language. You can make finger puppets, and finger puppets you can make in so many ways, so your students can be very, very creative. They can make it out of felt, so this is the felt material. And felt is very good, and I'll show you an idea of why felt is a great material for making finger puppets, because then you can do more with them. You can make them out of paper, so you don't need anything very fancy. You can just get a piece of paper like this, and you can make finger puppets out of that. I'm going to show you some very cool sites where you can get free templates for making some great puppets. You can draw them, and I'll show you how my students love drawing on my fingers. I let them draw on my fingers, and we learn a finger play sometimes. You can do it with Play-Doh, so you can do it with clay, and you can make little finger puppets with the clay. And you can do it with cloth and some other tools as well. So when you're thinking of making a finger puppet, there are different templates. So here's one of these templates from Billy Bear for Kids. And once again, if you want any of the tools, then these will be available. It's on a Pearl Tree, so you can find all the bookmarks. I'll put them once again in the chat box, so you don't have to worry about taking all these sites down. But there you can find one for making an elephant, and this is with felt or fabric. Now, if you just want to do paper, one of my favorite places is enchantedlearning.com. The great thing about Enchanted Learning is it has the fingers where the puppet pops up like that. These are so easy to make. They don't take very long, and your students can color them. The great thing about them is your students can make anything with this kind of finger puppet. They just have to put two little holes in the bottom. This is actually my hat, and my students used washable markers and crayons to draw little faces. They were drawing Thumbkin, and they were drawing middle finger for the gang, for the finger chat, where's Thumbkin? The other thing we had that you can do is if you have washable markers and they're non-toxic, then you can have where the students get to draw on each other's hands. So you do have to ask for permissions from the parents. That's always good to do, to get parent permission. But they love doing this, especially the younger ones. And of course, I wouldn't be able to throw a webinar without letting you know about some very cool tools, digital tools for fingers. So one of the tools that I found, which looks a little bit silly, is this Cool Finger Spaces app. And the thing about, Cool Fingers, the good thing about these Cool Fingers is that you can draw. So this app, the idea behind this app is that you actually draw on your phone instead of drawing on the real finger. So you can have little faces, they have smiles in them, they have sunglasses, they have accessories, they have stickers, and then you can take that photo and then you can mail it to yourself or to parents, and then they can do things like they can actually go and they can write a story about them or include them in a story. You can have your students draw and color them. So this is one of my students, and she's drawing her fingers on paper, and she's drawing faces for the Where is Thumbkin. And then after that, we use this wonderful tool called Blabberize. Blabberize is so cool because what it allows you to do is it allows you to add voice and mouth to your drawings. So all of these, actually, you can see their little mouths there. And when you see their mouth, it makes a video. It makes a very short video where they're actually singing. And you can hear this video and you can hear me singing. I'll put it where it is, but the students absolutely love this tool. So this is a good free tool that you can use with your students, and they'll just love it. It animates any kind of picture. It's very easy to use as well. Let me go ahead and give you the link to that in the chat box. And then you can go and you can see the video. Another great tool that we can, a way that we teach chants and we teach songs and we teach the finger plays are to demonstrate gestures. So our students learn a lot by modeling, like Banduda says. And one of the ways that we can teach them is we show them first, this is your hands, this is what we do with the hands, and we walk them through it, and then they repeat our fingers and our actions. So for finger plays, you actually don't have to have finger puppets. You don't have to have anything. You can do a finger play and just be with your fingers. So you can do something like the itsy bitsy spider went up the water spout, and you don't need anything. So that's what's great about using finger plays for teaching, is because you don't need any type of materials or anything like that. It's great if you do, but you don't have to. I put all of these in a wiki, so you can find some of my favorite finger plays if you click on the link that's in the chat box. And there's the lyrics, there's the music, there's the gestures, and there's even a few video examples. One way that you can teach finger plays is actually to show videos. And that's a lot of ways that I will teach a finger play to my students. And then I go and I embed the videos in my wiki and send it to the parents, because the parents want to do the finger plays at home. And it shows them the gestures. Cullen's ABC. Cullen is one of my favorite resources for teaching young learners. I learned how to be a better teacher by following Cullen. She has hundreds and hundreds of videos. She has a free curriculum for young learners online, and she works with toddlers. So if you're looking for resources, when I was teaching toddlers and I was teaching my 2-year-olds all the way to 6-year-olds, I couldn't find anything on teaching English. So Cullen's materials really helped me quite a bit. She also has a free app, so you can download the app, and the only thing the app does is show videos. So it's a free app, but it only shows videos of her doing the finger plays. You can create character sets for a story time. You can have where instead of just doing different fingers, you can have a whole glove. And then you can attach different characters that way. See, she's wearing a glove, and all of these are attached. So you can have character sets. If your students simply make these with paper, then every time you have story time, you can say, okay, what is this animal, or which animal is big and goes roar, and then your students will put on their fingers the animal that they think matches that description. So you can ask investigative questions and inquiry, and your students, you can see if they really understand the language by which animals they put on there. You can ask things like which animals live in the cold, which animals live under the sea, and then they can do that with their character sets. You can follow up with a felt board. So if you do have finger puppets that are made of felt, then you can stick them in a felt board, and you can do a story sequence. So if you have the 3 little pigs and you just read the story, then you can have them take their finger puppet, put it on the felt board, and you can say, okay, what was in the first scene? Which pig blew on the straw? And different types of questions like that. You can throw a show. You can make a frame for your finger puppets. These finger puppets are very cool. They were made with paper mache. I think they're very nice. And then you can even have a finger play script. Now, this one I got from ESLDramaGames.com, and she has a script made especially for very young learners learning English. So you have the different characters, you have a narrator, and the narrator, it says it's all pigs, so you would have finger puppets that are pigs, and all of them say very little, very simple phrases, like the narrator would say, Timmy likes singing, Tommy likes fishing, Jimmy likes sleeping. So all of these are very easy for young learners to say. They can set the stage, they can decorate it. So here they have finger puppet dinosaurs, and they have decorated this set so they have the right context for learning this language. And that's a great thing about having finger puppets and setting a stage. If you do a show, then your learners can visualize, they can see what environment it is. And that's very helpful for learning a language if you can see it. And you can see the colors, and they get to make different objects and characters as well. So there are some even more cool apps that you may have not heard about. Well, you can finger paint on your Android phone with sound, and you can do it also on, so you can do it on any mobile device. You finger paint and they play music. So it's a very cool tool that your students will love, and they can be creative. And you can use it to teach them letters. You can have it where they're writing letters, where they're doing numbers. So it's really great for them to be able to visualize the different types of letters and numbers. You can have finger measure